I had some slides. You might not all know this, but my middle name is John, after my dad. My first name is Kelly, after the milkman. That's true, 100% true. My dad had 4 sons. My mom said he fought for one name, and it was a joke. May I get the next slide? Introductions. On every picture, I'm on the left. My younger brother Chris is in the middle. Ben is on the right. We're Irish triplets. Irish triplets. We're all 1 year apart. It's good, so that way if I say, hey, Ben's 5 in the story, you can be like, all right, Kelly's 4, Chris is 3. I realize you're law students, not math students, but we can go from there. So I'm going to tell you some stories about my family today. And most of it's going to revolve around my dad because he did a lot of weird shit. A lot. And most of it funny, some of it too weird. One I really recommend, when Ben was 5, I was 4. Chris was 3, I'm not going to hand you all of these things, but I'm going to get you started. So Ben's 5, I'm 4. My dad's boiling eggs. He's showing Ben something to do with spinning them around. Turns out a hard-boiled egg spins, a non-boiled egg doesn't spin. Ben doesn't fully get it. I'm a little bit in the distance. I'm not fully paying attention, but my dad grabs one of the eggs, slams it on Ben's head. Ben screams, of course. Finds out the egg doesn't break. It's hard-boiled. Excellent trick. My dad hands an egg to my brother. Says, go try it on your mom. Now, my mom had been in bed for 3 days with one of the worst migraines of her life. I follow Ben in. I feel privileged to have seen this because it's pretty exciting. Ben walks up to my mom. She's barely awake. She can barely open her eyes, and he says, hey, Mom. The egg my dad gave her was not hard-boiled. It was really worth seeing. There I am standing there, and there's Ben. Then there's this moment. There's no time to explain this. There's just a look in his eyes like, huh, I guess the trick was on me all along. My mom got up for the first time in 3 days and chased Ben around, swearing at him. He had to lock himself inside a door. It took her days to forgive Ben. My parents were never great when it came to stuff like the tooth fairy. It always started out well, like initially gold, or the loonies that they get from the bank. You know, fresh loonies. They're shiny, they're magical, they're under your pillow, and it's something amazing. But by the second tooth, it's really lazy. It's just what they have in their pocket. And by the third tooth, it got a little vindictive. I wake up having lost my tooth. Let's say I'm 8 around now. I don't know. Could be. And maybe even younger. I don't know when people lose teeth, but young enough. I don't even know how this occurs to somebody to do, but my dad super glues a roll of change together. Just random change. No way to get it apart. Of course you go ask, I mean, hey, like, I don't know, is this legal currency? Like, I had it on good assurances that it was. So I take Ben and Chris with me to go to the store to buy candy. And this isn't all generosity. I don't want to put myself out as somebody like, oh, I had to buy my brother something. It's that my mom, she always thought, well, having 3 kids is such a hassle. No one would ever kidnap 3 kids at once. Most of their safety features were based on this. We actually, when I was in grade 5, we went to Disneyland without our parents. And I don't mean to say that they dropped us off at Disneyland. We had a hotel near-ish to Disneyland. They took us the first day, and after that it was like, hey, you remember, right? So there I am. We're walking to Sunnybrook store. We gotta get the candy. I'm excited about this. We've heard the change works. It's a good kilometer from our house. No easy walk, but not crazy far. We pick out candy, and we spend a long time doing it as kids. Like, you know, for some reason, it's a half-an-hour long process. Put it all there on the counter, all excited, and drop off the pile of change. So we put it together. We get a weird look. I'm sorry, we can't accept this. And of course, I try to make out my 8-year-old, like, no, I have been assured this is good currency, madam. Please put this transaction through. But she didn't see my point of view on this one, so we have to go even further to 7-Eleven, which is about 3 kilometers from our house at the time. And we're not old, we're just really wanting candy. Get there, same thing happens, come back extremely disappointed to my dad, who feigned shock. And I'm not, I guess that's just how things are sometimes. Take a break from the conclusion to point out that never off screen is there some happy ending where he drives us to the store and it's like, well, I did waste a lot of their fucking time. He just kind of went with it. He knew it was years till we would find out the Tooth Fairy didn't exist, so fuck him, right? My dad didn't tend to let my mom in on these tricks. She was a weakness. She was too compassionate. And so when my mom found out, she hinted to my dad, said, Kelly, perhaps you put that under your pillow and maybe the Tooth Fairy will make it right. So I do. And I wake up the next morning waiting for restitution. And there it is, my tooth under the pillow. When Ben was in grade 4, he got a model car. And this sounds like it should be fun, but it turns out it is not. I mean, there's levels of models you can get for kids. There's snap-together models. There's one that's pre-painted. You don't get one that's super complicated. And if you do, you don't lock a kid up in his room every day and make him paint each piece. Well, my dad did, but I don't think you should, so... It was months of torture. Ben being totally rebellious and passive-aggressive about it, never painted shit. He just sat there in misery, hoping that one day this half-car thing would end. So let's say Ben's in grade 4 at this point, and he's trying to make a good impression. Suddenly, it's his birthday. He's quite excited about it. We all are. And my dad's got us hyped up. He tells us that this is the gift. He can't even fit it in the house. It's in the garage. And you know, if it's a garage gift, for some reason, it's going to be more exciting, right? So he spends the whole day. He gets Ben's friends all hyped up. He gets everybody hyped up. And then there it comes, the time. We all go out to the garage. He brings it in. And it's a space shuttle and launch pad. On this box, it's a giant model, by the way. You can tell immediately, Ben's eyes are just, he can't stand the idea. But here's the brilliant part about the joke. Everybody else thinks this is the coolest present they've ever seen. On the box, it says things, and I'm quoting here. Over 20,000 parts. Specialized tools required. Years to complete. Ben's holding it together as best he can. I can tell he's on the edge, but everybody else is excited. It's not until my dad starts calculating that he loses it. You know, like, all right, Ben, I predict this. You work, I don't know, 3 hours a day. I think you can have this thing handled by the time you're 18. Ben bursts out crying. He can't do it anymore. Everybody at his birthday party thinks it's so cool, and Ben cannot stop bawling. On this one, it turned out, and my dad had made the box, completely manufactured. He really got, I was Pogs this year, it was a gold slammer, I don't know, if that helps anybody reference anything. There was a holographic stegosaurus on it, so it was enough that everybody was pretty happy about it. So my dad is known for fucking with people, but on top of that, most of all, he's known for being cheap. And he is known for loving free labor. I am talking, and again, real deal. I have had birthday parties slowly devolve into impromptu labor camps. Like, I don't know, there's enough kids around, and there is wood that needs to be hauled. I lost my best friend, Andrew Brakovich. And you know, like, you don't have best friends like you do when you're young anymore. It's like somebody who's really special that you're together, you do everything, and then one day Andrew just couldn't take it. He's, I'm sorry, Kelly. I like you, but I'm tired of working. I went to my dad with this story, agreed, looking for some kind of like, hey, Andrew Brakovich won't come over anymore. Which my dad replies, well, he's never that great of a worker anyway. So my dad, at one point in his life, opened up a restaurant, a long-time dream of his with his partner, Dave Miller, Big League Bar and Grill. I believe, let's say, I was 8 when this all began. Chris was 7. Great work, Jordan. Ben was 9. And my dad believed that you should advertise every single week with flyers. And he did not believe in paying anybody any real money to do it. The poor part about this is we were never really told when we were going to be delivering flyers. We'd just be going for the bus one day and there'd be his car in front of the bus. Like, hey boys, it's flyer delivery day. So we never like ate extra or had warm clothes. And we delivered flyers to 3 towns. Springbrook, Penhold, and Waskesiu Estates. So he dropped us off after school, and we would finish at about 9 o'clock. My dad paid us $2 an hour, and at the end of the day, took our food off the pavement. The restaurant employees got a discount, but technically we were contractors, so. There came a time, I didn't think it could get any worse. It was cold, it was a shitty job. Nobody likes people delivering flyers, by the way. Like, you're not bringing anything useful. It's not like, oh, it's wrapped up in a newspaper. It's like, no, it's strictly advertising. People would swear at us about this. I hated the job. I hated it. And yeah, I didn't think it could get any worse until it did. My dad decided that we were to build a treehouse. I know, sounds like a great story, but the treehouse is my model space station. Because I know that involves a lot of garage work. And garage work always ends with my dad yelling at me for having my hands in my pockets. I did, but I mean, and then having us clean the garage. I knew this was a lot of extra work, and furthermore, we stopped getting that $250 we had earned at that time. And he started paying us in wood. You would deliver flyers tires for 5, 6 hours. And what's expensive? I swear to you, we would receive a plank of plywood, a couple of 2x4s, and some nails. And then I would have to go out and build this tree house. And that wasn't even the worst job. There came a time where my dad found 3 abandoned lawnmowers in the shed. Now there's 150 of us here, or around there, and I realize everybody's imagination could be in a different place. So before we go any further, by assessing the quality of these lawnmowers, I'd like to point to some contextual clues. My dad found 3 lawnmowers abandoned in a shed. So my dad thought to himself, hey, these boys can mow lawns. And he got us a contract to mow the lawn of a school. Now, if you've ever wondered why you've never seen 3 boys with push lawnmowers mowing the lawn of a school, it's because it's a terrible idea. I use the word hell, but I don't mean like center of hell. I mean like maybe you used the Lord's name in vain one too many times, and now you have to mow a never-ending lawn. The payment for this was $350, and it took us 8 to 9 hours to do this lawn every week, all summer. Now I know in the last couple of minutes you've come to expect a Vann twist, and you're thinking, hey Kelly, that's pretty good money, but wait. But wait, there was a rental fee for these abandoned lawnmowers of $175. At no point in time were we ever any closer to owning these, by the way. That was just flat rate. One of the lawnmowers broke at one point in the time. And we just had to continue mowing the school lawn the entire summer. My dad doesn't even just he's not just cheap in such a way that if there's some advantage to him, he's going to go on it. He's cheap in such a way that he will do things just because it's a good deal. When I was 15, I got my ear pierced. I should probably rephrase that. When I was 15, my dad forced me to pierce my ear. And the reason for this is he had told my younger brother that he would pay to get his ears pierced. And so we went to the mall, it was all exciting. I had no, I didn't change much. There was never any ear-piercing phase in my life. I was very much against it. But my dad found out that it's mostly girls that get their ears pierced, so it's the same price for 2 ears as it is 1 ear. And he has 2 sons on him, so it only made sense. I put up a fight, but I started with the conclusion of the story. When I was 15, I got my ear pierced. One of the most mind-boggling ones that I don't know, I considered asking my dad about, I assume he would deny it, is, again, when I'm 15, but now Ben is 16. Thank you, everyone. Chris is leading in this story. So my Aunt Sharon decides that she's going to give us a car. Ben and I don't know, I guess we're a team, and she didn't want to just give it to Ben. It's nothing great about it, but good enough. We never owned a car before, all the better. My mom and dad go to pick it up in Calgary. And my dad, the gentleman that he is, gives Sharon $50 at the door. He says, I don't want you to have nothing for this. Here you go, Sharon. Thanks very much. So they get home with this car. It was a Sabre, by the way. I don't even know what brand of car that is. But I remember, standard shitty starter car. But we owned it. Or so I thought. My dad explained to us that he gave her $50 at the door. That's valuable consideration, right? He then proceeded to sell this car to us for $800. I kid you not. I called my mom up about this to ask, some of the details, and here's something I didn't know. Sharon has despised Ben and I about this car deal ever since. A year later, Ben and I sold it for $900, and Sharon found out about that part of the deal, and she stopped talking to us, because how dare we? Lastly, school starting this September, I ordered a desk from Costco. And a nice one. It goes up and down. It's electronic. It's a decent desk. Like Sean, I was super excited about it. and unnaturally excited. I mean, school had just started. I was confined to the library. I wanted to set up an office at home, change things up. And so I was waiting on its delivery. And I finally got a call. I'm living in an apartment, so the mailman calls. And here's one thing I know about this desk. It's heavy. And I want to be polite about it. I want to express to the mailman, I'm excited about this desk, because he's going to have to carry it all the way up, right? And I don't want him to feel bad, so I actually say the words to him on the phone, oh my God. He says, there's a package for you. I say, oh my God, I am so excited to use it. I've been waiting for this for weeks. Come on up. This is the strangest delivery I've ever experienced. The mailman configures himself, and I only reconstruct this in retrospect, at the hinge of my door. He knocks from here. I open the door, and the mailman performs a run-by delivery. Mail throws it at me, I catch it, and he runs away. Only in observing this, I'm not even looking at the package. It's obviously not a desk, right? May I get my last slide? I had left some pills at my dad's house during the summer. He thought this was the best packaging for it. 12-inch